Hello everyone! So you've probably heard of opening traps before, but something that's less well known is an endgame trap like this position right here. Now, this is a drawn position if black simply moves their king like this or moves their rook up and down. However, we are winning here if black tries to move their king to get our pawn with either of these moves. If they play king up to f6, then we have a pretty easy win here with rook to f8 check, king moves, and then to defend the rook, we promote. However, if instead they try to run to f7 here, then we have a less obvious win. We cannot play that same check because then they would simply capture, but instead we play rook to h8 instead. If they attack our rook with their king, then once again we promote, defend, we are completely winning here, and if instead they capture the pawn with their rook, then now we have perfectly lined up the rook and king for a skewer, and rook to h7 check is simply winning here. They have to move their king, now we capture, and in some time we will end up getting a checkmate here. So that is an example of a chess endgame trap. I have 4 more for you, as well as 3 little bonus mini ones. Let's get into those. So, we have this position right here. We have free pawns on free pawns, both lined up, and if you're not careful here, you might just play king to c3 and completely blunder your win away. The only way to win here is to play pawn to g6. You might think, oh, well, I don't understand. They can just capture, then we have to capture back, and we go into a drawn position, but that is not the case. Instead, we win here with h6, a beautiful sacrifice. The idea being, if they capture this, then we capture here, and promotion is unstoppable, so they have to capture, but now our pawn pushes up. And this is actually just completely unstoppable. Their king is 1 square too slow, and we simply promote to a queen and are completely winning here. And if they capture with the other pawn, like this, then we just do the same thing in reverse. We push this pawn instead. They have to capture. Now we push up. They are simply too slow, and once again we promote to a queen, and we have a completely winning position. Now let's go into the third trap with this position right here. So we have our rook guarding the second rank like this from the king. However, their pawn is about to push and promote. And the key thing to think about here is that we cannot stop this pawn from promoting. However, we do not have to stop it from promoting. Instead, we actually win here with king to c4. We cannot play a check with our rook because then king moves up, and now our king can actually not get into the square that it needs to go to, and this is a drawn position. Instead, after king to c4, they're pretty much forced to push the pawn, and now we run our king again to be free here. And the key idea is that the kings are lined up and the rook is about to come here. So if they promote to a queen, then actually you just rook to h1, and this is checkmate. Even though they have a queen, it is on the worst possible square for it, and yeah, this is simply a checkmate. So because of that, as a last dying wish, they're probably going to try and promote to a knight to get one last check-in, but simply king to c3, and they cannot do anything. If king over, then once again, rook up to h1 is checkmate, so they're pretty much forced to sacrifice a knight, at which point we just capture it, and once again, we are a rook up, and we have a completely winning position here. Now let's get into the fourth trap, this position right here. So we have one extra pawn, however we can't really do much with it because if we push it looks like it can just get captured and we don't have anything else from there. However, this is actually the only winning move. The idea being is that after they capture, we now sacrifice another pawn. We push f5. They capture, and I'm sure you now get the idea. We now sacrifice another pawn. They capture, but now this last pawn here pushes up, and promotion to a queen is completely unstoppable. They cannot do anything. If they try running their king here, then we can simply capture, and once again we get the exact same idea like so. We once again promote to a queen, and if they try pushing their own pawn here, like in this position, if they try pawn to e3 here and try to promote, then after keep capturing here, they can push and check, but our king just walks over, and nothing can remove our king from blocking the pawn. We're going to promote to a queen, maybe promote all three just to make fun of our opponent for how dumb they are, and once again we have a completely winning position. So now let's go into the fifth trap. We have this position right here, and I know this is a little different from the other endgames that you've seen, but the key idea here only occurs in special positions kind of like this. So our bishop is covering all of these squares, and we have this pawn that would be passed if not for this very annoying pawn here, but we're actually winning with knight takes on g2. A sacrifice of our knight, but the key idea being is that after they capture, now we can push up, and this is actually really hard to stop. And if they play this, then push and promote is actually unstoppable. They can move their knight, but we simply push up. Nothing can stop it, and we once again promote to a queen with a completely winning position. So their best try here is to actually not capture back, but instead play like knight back to f1 to guard this. But then because of our bishop back here guarding, we can just push, and they're forced to sacrifice the knight, at which point we are in endgame up an entire piece, and we're just in a completely winning position, less but still completely winning. So those are the 5 main traps I have for you, but now we have 3 little bonus traps, and they're all in queen versus rook endgames like this. Now, the reason they are all little mini traps is because they're all usually only 1 or 2 moves, and this one right here is a very common trap if they try playing king to d3. And it looks like a really good move here because now our rook is being pressured as well as their queen is taking away a lot of vital squares from our king. However, this actually backfires against them because of rook to e3 check. The idea being, of course, we're skewering them, so if they move, then we just capture. It is a draw. But if instead they play king captures on d4, then now this is actually a stalemate. Our king simply has no squares that they can go to, and yeah, a stalemate is a draw. Now let's look at the next little bonus one, which is this position right here. And this trap comes out of a pretty major mistake, queen to c2 here. And the reason that this move is so bad is that now our king is completely boxed in, it is stalemated, and because of that, if we can sacrifice this rook, it would just be a stalemate, which is a draw, and so with that logic, we can just play checks with our rook. King moves, we play another check. King moves, another check, and here we have the vital position, we just play another check. If they capture, then now, once again, we get that stalemate position, and yeah, a stalemate is a draw. One note here is that we cannot play rook to h4 check, since you might think it is the same idea, but the problem is that the queen covers this square right here, so their king can actually run back here and get here, play another check, and they can just go ahead and capture. And now this is not a stalemate anymore, our king has to move, and we're actually just losing here. So you have to play rook to g8 check and not to rook h4 check. Now let's go into the last little bonus trap, which is this position right here, or this position right here. And this trap comes out of, once again, queen to f7. We get that kind of idea where our king is completely trapped and has no moves, and so with that logic, we have a very similar win here with rook to g3 check. But here is a little nicer, because after their king runs and runs and runs, we just play rook to g6 check. Because if their queen captures, now we are in another stalemate net. And if their king once again runs up, then we just play another check, king captures, and once again, we get that stalemate. Alright, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and want more, and I will see you next time. Have a fantastic day.